ba nating balikan? Lasang natin aabot kahit nasan ka man. Sa gitna ng panubok na panahon, kahatid sigla, kaakibat ay diskusyon. Sama-sama tayo kahit magkalayo. Sa programang ito, trak ang pagkakato. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo, Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Makinig, manood na sa Teleradyo. Makinig, manood na sa Teleradyo. Nananabik.
All right. Good morning and good day to all of you and welcome to Teleradyo Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Delpilarians. This is John Marie Malco, your UCSP teacher. As we begin this episode, I would like to recognize and give credit to the Department of Education, Region 3, particularly to the module writers and evaluators. Most of my discussions and references originated from their work. No copyright was intended. The presentation and script are for educational purposes only, and no infringement is intended. If anyone believes that there have been many materials used in an unauthorized or illegal manner, please do inform the source so that issue may be dealt with accordingly. Any graphics, images, audios, songs, videos used in this lesson belong to their respective owners and may have been sourced out legitimately through an application. We wish to acknowledge that we have no ownership over them. Today marks the day of wrapping up our quarter one lessons in our subject understanding culture, politics, and society. Before we start, who can still recall or who can give me any topics which has been covered for the first quarter? So write your answers in the comment section. And don't forget to write your section or strand where you belong. While waiting for your answers, let me remind or give a gentle reminder to all senior high school Delpilarians taking this subject. Do not forget to take attendance so that your subject teachers may recognize your participation. You may do it by putting or typing your full name, grade level, and section at the comment area in our Facebook Live so that your names will be recorded in our attendance, and you can also take a screenshot to make it more authentic. All right, going back to my question, who can give me what are the things or the topics that we have discussed in the first quarter before we start our wrap up lesson in UCSP? All right, let me go to the comment section and look for the names. Very good, Juliana Santos. We have discussed the type or different types of societies. What else? Yes, very good, Niana Cardenas. We have studied the anthropology, sociology, and political sciences. What else? Anyone? Yes, very good. Angel Bernardino. We have discussed anthropology and sociology. For the answer of Rose Navarro, we have studied the branches of anthropology. Very good, Pilarians. It is indeed. You have really remembered the topics that your UCSP teachers have been delivered. So today, we will be wrapping up all our subject matters or the topics that we have discussed in the UCSP. So let's first take a look in our first subject matter as a review in our subject matter. So in our first lesson, we have discussed the anthropological, sociological, and political perspective. Who can forget the famous man, the famous philosopher in the ancient times, Aristotle, who said that man by nature is a political animal. Aristotle mean by man is a political animal because as an individual, we are social by nature. We are interacting with other human beings, which of course happens in what we call a society. Society is something that precedes the individual, as Aristotle quoted. Man must satisfy a certain natural needs in order to survive. Man also belongs to those gregarious and political animals who share a common activity, which of course connected with our topic culture. In a society, we share one culture. Aristotle added that all beings as being are good, since nature in its entirety is in Aristotle's view good and purposeful. So we have a purpose in life. We are a good as nature or as one of the characteristics of man, we are good in nature. So as we study the first lesson in UCSP, we have viewed anthropology. In anthropology, it is the study of humans past and present. Anthropology's goal is to describe and explain human variation or the observed similarities and differences in peoples through time and across space. Anthropology draws and builds upon knowledge from the social and biological sciences. In other words, anthropology is the study of humans past and present. So as we dealt with anthropology, we have also tackled cultural anthropology. Cultural anthropology studies human cultures, beliefs, and ideas. It also discusses technologies, economies, practices, values, and other spheres of social and rational organization. In simple words, when we hear the word cultural anthropology, it means it is the study of the living people. We have also talked about physical anthropology. So when we think of physical anthropology, always remember of the theory of Charles Darwin, which is the theory of evolution, which deals with the biological behavioral aspect of human beings. It also focuses on our relationship with non-human primates and their extinct hominid ancestors. Right? This is very important topic since this physical anthropology is being discussed in our lesson 4 in UCSP, which of course we will be talking about it later. Also, who can forget archaeology, one of the branches of archaeology. Archaeology studied both ancient and recent past humans through the material remains such as artifacts, fossils, and bone fragments. We should give credit to our archaeologists because if they do not do their work, if there are or there is no archaeology, of course we do not have an information or knowledge of what are the things that had happened in the past. So archaeology is the study of the past and dead culture. Also, we have discussed linguistics. What is linguistics? Yung linguist natin. So it studies the relations between language and culture relations to human biology, human reasoning, and human language. It studies how we use human language in order to communicate with other people. And lastly, we have discussed the applied anthropology. So the application of the study of anthropology, which deals with applications of anthropological facts. Take note, it only studies facts, perspectives, theories, and procedures in identifying and accessing social problems. So in order to solve social problems, we need to use only facts. Hindi fake news, but facts. Also, we have discussed sociology as we study one part of our subject matter, which is society. Sociology deals with the study of society and social interactions which are taking place in the society. It also deals with the origin, evolution, and development of human society. So this is actually the study of the evolution of society, which of course was discussed in our lesson 2. Sociology also tackles the interaction, the social relationship, and social organization and the processes of people in a society. So we have also discussed the branches of sociology, which also includes social institution. It studies the social inequality, social mobility, religious groups, and bureaucracy. Also, who can forget the social psychology topic, which studies how human beings or studies the human behavior, the human nature, and the emphasis on social processes as they affect individuals or responses which are called social stimuli. It means yung mga nangyayari sa society natin and its effect on the human beings, pinag-aaralan ito ng social psychology on how we react to the things that are happening in our society. Also, we have discussed human ecology. It pertains to the study of the effects of various social organizations. Take note that in society, we are as well connected with a smaller or we call the sub-societies. Just like, for example, a religious organization, a political organization, a social organization. Now, in human ecology, we are dealing with its effect in joining or participating in that organization to our behavior. All right? And of course, lastly, the applied sociology, which concerns with the specific intent of yielding practical applications for human behavior and organizations used for addressing social issues. So applied sociology also deals of how to solve social problems. And lastly, in our lesson 1, we have discussed political science with which deals with the study of the state and government. What are the things that a government official should do to those who are assigned as a public figure, being given the authority or power to govern a society? So these are the things that covers political science. It concerns about politics and policies of government. And of course, we have discussed international relations as branches of political science. International relations is the study of political relations between nations and states. Yung ating relasyon sa ibang bansa. It also discusses the study of diplomacy, military conflict, and conflict resolution. Of course, it covers international economy, international organization, and other processes that operate across boundaries and nation states. When we talk about political science, of course, we cannot take out the topic public administration. So it is the study of the implementation of government policy and also an academic discipline that studies this implementation and prepares civil servants for working in public service. Political economy also deals on how we talk about our trade with other nations, our relationship with law of the other nations, the customs, the government, and most especially the distribution of national income and wealth. All right. Further, we have talked about in our lesson 2 about culture and society. So let's identify first what is a society. Society is a group of people interacting with each other and having a common culture and sharing a common geographical domain. And also, in our lesson 2, we have identified, as you have answered earlier, the types of society. So the first uh, type of society that we have is what we call the pre-industrial societies. So in the pre-industrial society, we have the hunting and gathering society, where of course in this type of society, the main method of food production is the collection of wild plants and the hunting of wild animals on a daily basis. So the people who are living in the hunting and gathering society, they are what we call the nomads. They are roaming around, they are hunting wild animals, gathering wild plants for their survival. This is done on a daily basis. Of course, we have the pastoral society. So the prevailing method of food production in this type of society is through pastoralism. This is more efficient than the previous society where people are not anymore hunting wild animals. They are breeding livestock. Also, of course, society evolved. People learned how to breed animals for food production. They have also learned to cultivate lands and plant fruits and vegetables. So this type of society, which is called the horticultural society. So this society have learned how to raise fruits and vegetables grown in the garden plots that have provided them their main source of food. Of course, people learned that there is or there is no need to roam around to be a nomads hunting for food or hunting wild animals for food production. They learned how to plant vegetables and fruits on a garden plots, so they applied it into a larger land. So societies have applied agricultural technological advances to cultivate crops over a large area. So this is now what we call the agrarian society. Now, in feudal society class, there is an offshoot of the increase of food chain. So people become wealthy and able to acquire lands and declare these as their own domain. It is based on the ownership of land. So this is the feudal society. So feudal society deals with or based on the ownership of the land. So now let us talk about the second type of society, which is the industrial society. Industrial society is an economic system emerged between the 15th and the 16th centuries, began to replace feudalism. So this or the industrial society is what we call the capitalism or the predominant economic system of industrial societies. So when we say capitalism, it means that capitalism is characterized by free competition, free market, and the right to acquire private property. So the introduction of foreign metals, silk, and spices in the market has been stimulated. So they are not anymore focused on food production, but they have also been producing other products in the industrial society. And lastly, the third type of society that we have and the kind of society that we have in the present is what we call the post-industrial society. The post-industrial society is a more advanced societies, of course, being dominated by information, services, and high technology surface already. So these hallmarks of these societies were beyond the production of goods. We are now focused on shifting towards the increase of services or service sectors and other manufacturing productions. All right. So when we talk about society, we should not take away its culture because culture is a system of shared behavior of those population or the population living in a society. So that is what we call culture. The culture is a shared behavior and culture is being learned, culture is being transmitted, culture is adaptive, culture is gratifying, and culture is symbolic. Ibig sabihin, yung kultura natin ay natutunan natin from our ancestors, from our parents, and we are also transmitting these cultures to the next generations after us. Cultures is also adaptive when there is a sudden change in our society. So we are flexible. We should be flexible and we should adapt to this sudden change in our society. We should be grateful for the cultures that we have because, of course, this is a symbol of our identity. Most especially as we talk about culture, for example, our culture as a Filipino, we have many cultures that is very symbolic. When people would know that culture, they would think of our identity as a Filipino. We have also talked about the two main types of culture, the material and the tangible culture, which means all cultures that we can see, that we can touch, which of course gives symbols. So that is what we call the material and the tangible cultures. The non-material cultures or the intangible cultures, these are the types of cultures na hindi natin nakikita but is being observed in our society. Just like, for example, the folkways, our beliefs in the superstitious or the supernatural beings, about our knowledge, about most especially, this is very important, our values, right? When we talk about culture, we should also take note that culture varies from society to society, which means our culture is different from the culture of other societies. So we have discussed this in our topic, cultural relativism. We should have an idea or knowledge of the type of culture that other societies have in order to understand their culture because again culture varies from society to society. So this is what we call cultural relativism. Cultural relativism is the view that all beliefs, customs, and ethics are relative to the individual within his own social context. Ibig sabihin, if there are many societies or type of societies that we have, just like for example, yung ating tradisyon, ating kultura bilang isang Pilipino ay iba sa mga kultura ng mga Kano, sa mga tradisyon ng mga Amerikano, sa mga tradisyon ng iba't ibang nasyon sa buong mundo. So in order to understand them, we should have a knowledge or we should be knowledgeable of the nature of their culture because culture is relative, right? And the last topic or subject matter that we have discussed in the first quarter is what we call evolution. The evolution of human biocultural and socio-political. Right? So as we talk about human biocultural and cultural evolution, it deals with the evolution of human beings, the evolution as well of societies that people live in. As we talk about biocultural evolution, we have discussed the evolution of man, which, of course, according to the theory, we come from the first species known as the Homo habilis. So Homo habilis, known as the handyman, is a species of a genus Homo which lived from approximately 2.33 million years ago. So the discovery and description of this species are credited to archaeologists. That is why napaka-importante yung role ng mga archaeologists natin. The next evolution that we have is we have evolved to the Homo erectus, which means tuwid ng tumayo ang tao. Homo erectus class came after the Homo habilis, was also the upright person. However, the Homo erectus had a smaller but longer face. It has less prominent or absent chin, has a larger brain size, and prominent in speech. So they have the form of communication that they are mumbling words in order to communicate. Homo erectus as well knew how to make and use tools. He made a fire. They are the ones who discovered fire, the greatest discovery of all time. He made as well, they did not only discover the fire, but they already learned how to control it. The Homo erectus were carnivorous and they have been spreading from Africa to Asia and Europe. Alright, next is the Homo sapiens neanderthalensis. So the Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, they have the brain size larger than the modern man. They were also gigantic in size. Medyo malaki sila. They are muscular. They have a large head and jaw. And they are powerful. Sometimes studies also describe them as the giants because of their physical structure, that they are muscular and they are powerful. They are as well carnivores, and the tool that they use are stone tools for their hunting. They are cave dwellers, and their caves were more comfortable, and they live in a groups and they hunt for food as a group. And lastly, we have the Homo sapiens sapiens, also known as the modern day man. As compared to the Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, they became smaller in size. They have also a smaller brain size. They have a reduced jaw, a rounding of skull and chin. They have also spread wider from Europe to Australia and to the Americas. However, hindi lamang sila carnivores, they are also omnivores. They had learned to eat vegetables and plants. They have developed as well the power of thinking, the producing or how to make arts, most especially yung mga arts na makikita natin sa mga cave or what we call the cave painting. So it was the Homo sapiens sapiens who drawn that, according to, of course, the archaeologists. So as we study the development of the society and the evolution of man, makikita natin on how human beings improve their lives. This is what we call the humanization. And humanization deals kung paano natin pinapadali, we are improving our human everyday living, most especially in innovating our technology. So this is the process of improving our day-to-day life, discovering enhancing and creating mechanisms with the intent of harmonizing and harnessing the fullest potential of their fellow human beings. So, to understand the cultural development of humans, one must examine the materials and technological advancement that took place in the different periods of human history. So, tignan natin yung human history natin and how we develop as a society. So first, we have the Paleolithic Age. So Paleolithic Age was derived from the Greek words paleo, which means old, and lithic, which means stone. So this is somehow called the Old Stone Age. So in the word itself, they are nomadic. They are using stone tools for their hunting and gathering. Next, we have the Mesolithic Age or the Middle Stone Age. So people now have learned how to cultivate lands. They have learned how to plant vegetables and plant fruits for their daily survival, but they are still nomads. So they are transferring from one place to another. Depende sa availability ng source of food nila. And we have the New Stone Age or the Neolithic Age. So this age class, so this era, people now have what we call settlement. They have their own community that they live in. And they are also being able to practice what we call the government system or the system of a society. They have their leader, they have the roles in the society, and they are also been able to plant in a larger area. So as we compare this Neolithic age to our topic, the types of society, so we can say that this age, the Neolithic age, is what we call the horticultural and the agricultural society because they are now planting in a larger area, right? And of course, humans doesn't or should not stop innovating things in order to improve our daily life. So people have discovered to use metals just like bronze, copper, tin, and alloy in their, of course, the tools that they are using during that time. So the bronze age that we have, the metalworking advances at this age. So the discovery of tin and alloy was the great innovation for their tools, most especially in hunting. It This bronze age was about the year 3000 BC to 1300 BC. And lastly, we have the Iron Age. So the discovery of the ways to heat and forge iron kicked the Iron Age. It is roughly around 1300 BC to 900,000 BC. So those are the things that we have discussed in our first quarter lessons in understanding culture, society, and politics. So what can we learn from this subject matter? Always take note, class, that man by nature is a socio-political. We have our roles in a society and we cannot survive if we have if or I mean we don't have a society. Kinakailangan natin yung ibang miyembro ng society para tayo ay mag-exist and of course our society to survive. So we have seen the development of our society from the hunting and gathering society to the post-modern societies that we have. We have also seen the evolution of man, the biological evolution of human beings from the Homo habilis to the Homo sapiens sapiens. And importante na malaman natin that humanization has a significant factor in the development of our lives. From time to time, we can see the new discoveries, the new innovations that we have in the society, which of course its purpose is to make our lives more comfortable, more easier, and our community will be a suitable learning or a living community. Right? So that's it with our wrap up lesson in understanding culture, society, and politics, quarter one. And of course, we are really excited to present to you the next part of our lesson in UCSP in our second quarter episode. So to end this episode in UCSP, I would like to thank our school principal, Dr. Maria Victoria C. Vivo, and our master teacher and fellow UCSP teacher for your support of our episodes in quarter one. And of course, to the production team of Teleradio Marcelo. And to all of you students who keep on watching our broadcasting episodes. So don't forget to take a screenshot and write your name on the comment section for your attendance. So once again, I am Mr. John Marie Malcor, your UCSP teacher at nagsasabing halina at ating alamin at tuklasin ang kultura, lipunan at politika.
Radyo is always at your service. Kaya naman, ang feedback mo, suggestions nyo ay mahalaga sa amin to improve our programs on air and online. Para alam ni teacher yung strengths as well as the things in your mind na mas makatutulong sa mas effective na pagkatuto sa teleradyo. Please take time to send your feedbacks via Teleradyo Mu, which you can access by scanning the QR code on the right or typing the URL provided here, bit.ly/3ORVAY9. One more, this time you follow. bit.ly/3ORVAY9. Kaya send your hashtag TBH o hashtag RT dito sa Teleradyo Mu kung saan ang feedback mo, suggestions nyo ay mahalaga sa teleradyo.
Makinig, manood na sa teleradyo. Makinig, manood na sa teleradyo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Sa gitna ng mapanubok na panahon, magkahatid sa kakibat ay diskusyon. Sama-sama tayo, kahit magkalayo. Sa programang ito, tiyak ang pagkatuto. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, Teleradyo Marcelo.